African parents and teachers have been challenged by some experts to take control of their children and resist the radical comprehensive sexuality education being sponsored by the Western government. The experts who noted that basic sex education was good for children to know how to defend themselves said the way it is being designed now by the United Nations and the Planned Parenthood Federation will expose African children to massive pornography, homosexuality, abortion, amongst others.
There is an orchestrated effort that I've been witness to. We have consultative status at the United Nations, and a lot of the UN agencies, while they do some good here and in many African countries, they also have a hidden agenda to sexualize children through teaches about a right to abortion. It has all sorts of teachings that even teaching children about sexual pleasure that's premature for children of minor age. And so we're bringing a warning message to parents, to policymakers here, to go look what's in the schools, what's being funded by the Western governments.
Many teachers have been trained all over Africa to implement the SRHR agenda, the Comprehensive Sexuality Education Agenda. And through that, what is happening is our children are becoming candidates for even the homosexual agenda, because they are now being introduced to anal sex, oral sex at a very early age. They're saying it's a way of combating the problem of HIV/AIDS, STIs, and teenage pregnancies and so on. But the outcome, as proven by many research, the implementation of comprehensive sexuality education, in fact, has promoted HIV, promoted more abortions, promoted addictions.
We've discovered traces of it in textbooks, we've discovered traces of it in the curriculum. And then the deeper question we should be asking ourselves is, why is there an attempt to sexualize our children? Why is there an attempt to compromise our future, compromise the brains of our children?
They noted that the argument put forward by sponsors for promoting the use of condom and contraceptive for young children as a way to reduce the risk of sexually transmitted infections and unwanted pregnancy was a fallacy with economic intentions.
Condoms do not protect 100% from HIV, but have to promote fidelity in marriage, and we have to promote marriage between man and a woman, because men having sex with men has a 70%, even with the use of condoms, has a 70% rate of new HIV transmission.
With the increase in condom use, you also have an increase in sexually transmitted diseases. Now, when you have an increase in sexually transmitted diseases, what follows? You're going to need treatment, isn't it? You're going to need drugs. Where are these drugs going to come from? So money there for Africa is recycled back into purchasing those drugs.
As the African families from emerging threats of the Western world, they called for equitable distribution and utilization of resources.
Africa is a blessed continent. Africa is rich in resources. Africa was described by Pope Benedict as the spiritual lung of the world. So if we really harness our resources, then we don't have to be beggars to any country outside this continent. At the United Nations in New York, where sometimes I act as an advisor, I have seen people try to pit the mother against the father in the name of women's rights. So instead of talking about duties, they're talking about rights. Instead of balancing rights with duties, they're talking about rights, and talking about rights in a manner that is confrontational. I've also seen people kick against parental rights because they want to champion children's autonomous rights. And we know that the brain of a child does not fully develop until a child is 25. In fact, even the people who have attained the age of 25, their brain development can still be compromised because of addiction to drugs, addiction to pornography, and addiction to alcohol. So why would anyone want to give children autonomous rights without the consent of parents? Why would anyone not see parents as the primary educators of their children? And even where you say, okay, some parents have failed. Yes, it is true we have cases where parents have failed. It is true we have cases where there is violence in the home. But why would anyone come up with solutions that are at variance or are not in conformity with authentic human development? We have to ensure that history does not repeat itself, whereby through greed, through ignorance, and through self-interest, our leaders actually betrayed our cause and sold human lives to slavery.